How's it going, everybody? SaiyanSC back here with another Flash game. Yes, the ultimate weapon once again. Going to be playing some ladder games. This time it's versus Zelot. Spawning down here at the bottom right-hand corner. Flash at the top left. We're going to be checking out how this ladder monster here, this guy who's been playing hundreds of games per week, has been laddering at S rank for the entire time Flash has been gone. How is he gonna do against Flash here? He's gonna be pulling out some really aggressive builds in ZVT. Terran or Flash on his main race. Can he handle the heat? It's gonna be coming from Zelot. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure he can. I've really been enjoying casting Flash's comeback. I think there's been a lot of hype around it. So yeah, thanks for having me back, man. Our Flash versus Snow series was pretty well received, and I'm pretty excited to do this one against Zelot, who, as you say, is known for being quite a super aggressive player. But I was having a look at your cast where Flash played against Shine, and Flash just seems to be able to have the composure to deal with aggressive Zerg. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes for sure.
Yeah, he showed some very interesting strategies against Shine. I don't want to ruin it, but he did bring out a Wraith play that was very unorthodox and really took Shine by surprise. So the aggressor became the aggressed upon in that series. And we'll see if Flash is able to turn it around on Zelot here. This guy has all the greatest builds, the most aggressive builds for Zerg, kind of down pat. He's the guy to look for and to look at if you're trying to learn Zerg and just be like a crazy aggressive player. If you want to learn how to do macro Zerg, don't look at this guy. Maybe go over to Action or Hero or someone like that. But this man, he knows how to put on the pressure.
He sure does. I think that Flash is always having this exceptional ability to balance incredibly aggressive macro opens with being responsive enough to make units exactly when he needs them. So he does seem to take pressure, absorb pressure. He even seems to appear to take damage on occasion, but it's never enough of an issue for him to just keep scaling into the mid game and then very, very quickly suddenly turning the tables on his opponents. So you always kind of feel like any game that Zelot would tee up against Flash would be on a clock. In other words, the longer the game goes, probably the better for Flash.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. Flash in the late game definitely has the edge over Zelot here. The longer he keeps this SCV in the main base as well, the worse it's going to be for Zelot. Does not want to have his strategies revealed here. Has to keep Flash in the dark as much as possible. There's going to be chasing that around. We've got a single barracks here with that Mickey Mouse wall from Flash and the factory on the way. So already a bit of a divergence from standard play here from Flash.
I think this might be the Valkyrie build. It's very difficult to tell them apart because if you're going to try and do a 1-1-1 or if you're going to try and do pure mech, you know, at this stage, the build orders for Terran look very, very similar. But it's what they do for the next couple of builds that's going to be very, very interesting here. The question, of course, from Zerg's point of view is when and how you're going to be able to scout this to adjust, because Saiyan, you're a Zerg player, so when Terran does mech or does this Valk build, it probably changes your composition. I think you could probably still go mutas early, but it's then where you pivot to from there that's largely influenced by a mech open from the Terran side, correct?
A lot of what your decision making is going to come down to is what you end up scouting with this first couple of mutas. If you see immediately that there is a Valk build, don't want to commit too heavily to those mutas, but you can't really get into this base. Yeah. And unfortunately for Zelot, you know, he's had to send his overlords around the long way. He's not even been able to get a scout here into the natural just yet. All he's seen is this barracks, and all he can see is that there are still Marines popping out there, and a medic has just popped. So he's probably got suspicions here, but he hasn't really confirmed just yet. And that's what these first Mutalisks will have to be doing.
Yeah, and it is definitely a Valk build. We see the armory, we see the Rax explosion, we see the starport coming in. So this has been really popularized in recent times by Light. Opening Valkyries. I suppose it's, there's a lot of opportunity to harass overlords. Have you come across this playing? And if you do, how are you supposed to deal with this as the Zerg?
Well, there's a couple of different ways to deal with it. You can try to hit the Valkyries with some Scourge. It's a bit of a high risk, high reward strategy. If you do manage to get those hits off, you can very quickly take the game away from the Terran player, steal that control, and win the game with just a quick Mutalisk play. But if you don't manage to hit those Valkyries, you can end up losing the game very, very fast. Oh, he takes a big volley here from that first Valkyrie. That's not the way you want to start out this attack. And he's continuing to produce mutas. He's also got the Carapace on the way. So it's feeling like he wants to go for that pick off with the Scourge. And he's going to follow it up with a pretty quick Queen's Nest here, trying to get into Hive as fast as possible.
So it's so you would bypass your traditional lurker transition. What units are you ultimately after? So the speed up to Hive Tech is to try and get to what sort of composition?
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to want to get your Dark Swarm down as quickly as possible. You want to get your Defilers out here as fast as you can. Not skipping over Lurker here. Lurker is going to be very, very strong against this type of composition. Like, the two options... Oh, God, he loses one Valkyrie. Excuse me. While I was talking about the strategy here, a Valkyrie just went down. Looks like he's going to go after a second one. Can he get it? He does! Oh, man, this has gone very, very nicely for Zelot so far. Picking off the first two Valkyries is huge. There's really just a choice. There's a fork in the road here that Zelot's already chosen to go down the Scourge Muta fork, but the other way you can play is just to throw down a very quick Hydralisk Den and try to go transition directly into Lurkers. It's super hard to get out on the map here as Terran. If there are Lurkers, there could be those Lurker bombs, hull position Lurkers out on the map. Really good micro here from Zelot. He's trying super hard to get a hit on this Valkyrie, but the Scourge are being super dumb. Here we go, this second set of Scourge. No, it doesn't connect. The Marines just barely holding on there. They don't have any medics with them, though. That was a very scrappy battle, but quite a few mutas ended up getting traded out, and the Valkyries do survive.
Very, very sad for Zerg fans. I love how you described that. The Scourge were being dumb. They all died red. None of them got their heads off. That's a lot of lost gas for absolutely no value. And it feels like Flash is going to try and establish a map presence now.
Oh, and Zelot is actually going for Greater Spire here. This is something that can work, but it's kind of risky to go against Valkyrie play. Try to get into Guardians here because there's already two Valks out. That Valkyrie count is only going to grow. Ship weapons is on the way here. It seems counterintuitive to go into a Greater Spire and try to get Guardians, and it kind of is, but there's always the option to try and snipe down the Valkyries, and he does get another Valkyrie. Could get another one here with some more Scourge coming up, but look at this. Diving on top of the Valkyries again. He's going to get another kill here. That armor really helping out Zelot to be able to fight these Valkyries on somewhat even footing. Hydras have popped out here. The Greater Spire is just about done. He really needs to morph these into Guardians as soon as possible. You'd love to morph them on the other side of the map, but he's going to be morphing them right here on his high ground as soon as he can. The Hydralisk upgrades are coming out. Speed is on the way. This is the moment for Flash when he can still break this attack. As soon as the Guardians are out, this is going to become much more difficult to break.
This base here is fairly naked and could take some serious pressure. I don't know if Flash's scans... Okay, he doesn't know exactly where this is. Only a couple of Hydras there to slow him down. That's really not much resistance. There's absolutely no Sunkens here. The Guardians are going to be slow as hell. The Hydras are going to have to do a lot of work to assist here. Pulls all the drones. I think this is a dead Hydralisk Den and a dead hatchery. I really don't see Zerg being able to do a hell of a lot about this. The Guardians are moving across at the speed of absolute snails. The Hydra's also coming across, but this is dead. Perhaps setting up for a flank, but this is really a clutch move from Flash. As you said, the timing of the Guardians, getting them out ASAP really was critical, and a lot of damage done there. Devour is also entering the fray. We're getting all sorts of interesting tech. This is a crazy fight. This is why we wanted to watch this series. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, look at the Guardians just cleaning up this attack, and now Zelot is going to be on the counter here. He has to move quickly, though. We've got more Valkyries on the way. That +1 ship weapons did not come in to play until now. Oh my god, 3 Valkyries in the middle of the map. We're gonna get picked off. This is huge, losing all these Valkyries right here, right
HP,
now.
7 HP on that one Valk, just got away.
So painful, so painful. Flash needs every single Marine, or every single Marine and Valkyrie here that he can possibly muster in order to take this on. He's coming across the map. Zelot, this is still a very, very dangerous attack. A tank has been sent out. A second tank is here as well. This is going to help a lot, but so many Guardians are coming up here. How many do we have? 7 Guardians to fight this. 2 Devours and a lot of Hydras are ready to go. This is going to be a tough battle, but it's one that Zelot has to win. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to take this game. He has Lurker on the way, and a new base is coming up. He's going to run up underneath these Valkyries, shooting them down with the Hydras as quickly as possible. The Guardians are doing a huge amount of damage. He manages to pick off one of the tanks. The Guardians can clean up the rest of this. Marines are not very good at running up underneath these. Hydras are there to support as well. Looks like tank on the high ground gonna get picked off here. He's still got to be very careful pushing forward. More and more Hydras are being rallied up. This is all the Guardians he's gonna have, though. Here we go, pushing into the natural. Bunch of Hydras gonna run up here, abandoning this position, and it's looking like Zelot may be able to take this game. He can block the ramp. Actually, he's not going to block the ramp, just putting some Lurkers there on the low ground. One Wraith pops out. That's a very important Wraith. This Wraith is going to start to clear things out.
He's cloaked, but he's only got a little bit of energy left. 30 energy, but that's going to give him a fair bit of time to do some damage. Yeah, there's the Overlord. Finally, now these Hydras can do some work and assist here. The Lurkers, though, come into play to make the lives of the Marines really, really difficult. I really like this composition for Zelot. He's probably got just enough anti-air. Unfortunately, the Hydras kind of get in the way of the Lurkers getting onto the high ground, but it doesn't really matter. The Spines managed to get up the hill and wreck the initial line of Marines. I think the Guardians here are probably just going to be too OP. The Hydra is picking on the Wraiths, so are running out of energy in terms of cloak. We hear the Spines, which means the natural base of Flash is basically all but done. This game has been absolutely chaos, and if we're doing a series here, and this is what this is going to be like, this is going to be some serious fun. We need to all strap in for some fun here, guys.
Yeah, it appears that Zelot is about to win this game. Flash is just about out of gas here. He's trying to micro a single Wraith to kill a Guardian, but the command center is about to go down. More and more Mutas and Hydras moving across the map here. Zelot has good saturation as third. He is in complete command of this game. Generally, when these Guardian plays don't work, if they don't kill your opponent, then you're gonna end up losing as the Zerg player. It's a bit of an all-in, but killing off the command center, killing this number of Marines, and just destroying the natural base means that he is gonna have to tap out. Flash loses game number 1 to Zelot. Zelot gonna stick around for another few seconds here just to kill what he can, but he's gonna get in there once again and try to play another game versus Flash. We got a series here for you guys. I'm gonna jump into game number 2.
And we're back. This time on Neo Silphid, and on the sort of middle left position we have Zelot, and in the middle right position, spawning in the blue, at least on my screen, we have Flash. So these guys played each other in a series pretty much all on the same day. It's a series in the sense that when the MMRs are pretty similar, the matchmaking pairs the players against each other. So These guys played each other a few times, so it'll be nice to see when the games are very close together what, if any, adjustments the players make. Flash went for the Vulk build in game 1. Let's see what we get here in game 2. What we already have, which is very interesting, is this very early SCV. Thoughts on that, my friend SaiyanSC? What do you think? And I didn't mean to be a poet, but it's just a skill I have.
We're going to see a barracks in the center. It's an 8 racks coming out here from Flash. You can see he's not producing any more SCVs. There's the racks in the center. But look at the Overlord sending it straight across the map. This is not a typical or standard Overlord positioning here. Like, you usually want to send it up towards the 12 or down towards the bottom right, but
correct.
It's just heading straight into the middle of the map. It could be that we see Zelot just see this barracks and drones come out and prevent this from ever being finished. That would be a sad way for Flash to go down. And here it is. It's been revealed. He sees the racks. It's about to finish those, so he doesn't have time to get out here with the drone to actually prevent this. He's just going to prepare, make sure that he gets his spawning pool down as quickly as possible, and then get ready his defenses. Probably going to fight with drones here, if I had to guess, in order to prevent this from dealing significant damage here in his natural.
Interestingly, Flash going gas behind this, so you don't really expect that with the sort of center racks and a commitment to marine pressure. But I think because the Overlord saw the racks, he's made some sort of adjustment. I don't exactly know how he is going to modify whatever his initial plan would have been. When the pool pops, I expect we'll see a fair number of lings, but the marine is already here, and so is the SCV. This hatch has still got a fair way to go before any sort of sunkens can come out, and the pool is still not done. So there's going to be an opportunity to do a little bit of damage here, but Zelot, being a player who cheeses, is probably also a player who's used to being cheesed. So let's see how he deals with this. He's probably going to avoid building anything with this lava and perhaps just build it on this side. He seems to have gone very quick lair and doesn't seem too phased about this early harassment at all. This is going to be a bunker rush, and I think this hatch is history.
I'm a little surprised to see Zelot not pull any drones in order to fight. Instead, it looks like he's going to run by here. Running by with 4 lings, doesn't lose even one of them so far. But the problem with this play is that this factory is coming out in the base of Flash. The barracks is going to get shut down. But we're going to see a vulture very quickly, and the wall in behind this is insanely good. I think the follow-up here from Zelot is just make sure he doesn't lose anything. Make sure that the Marines don't come into the main base and deal any harassment damage, any drone kills, and then try to go into a spire from here and just try to get a win somehow with the aggressive spire play here. Just pull Mutalisk across the map and try to win just straight up like that. Now coming out with some lings, he's going to get a Marine for free at least, but on the other side of the map, the Vulture is being microed perfectly, going to kill all 4 of those lings.
Yeah, I just don't see a win condition for Zerg here. All Terran really needs to do is have some sort of anti-air for when the mutas come, and then it's just going to be a case of Zerg being too far behind. Single base, going to be very difficult, painful to expand. To kill this bunker, to be able to take any hatch, it's going to be difficult to get any drones anywhere else on the map. Vultures are the absolute best unit you want to fight against slowlings. So really like Flash's position here, and it's always just so cool to see the adjustments players make when they've just played an opponent and they just take a totally different approach and the impact it can have, right? So Zelot, known to be a cheesy player, and just gets relatively simply cheesed, and it's a 5-minute game. Boom, bang, done.
Boom, bang, done. Zelot, the tables have turned. As expected, Flash bringing out the aggressive early cheese there, takes him down just like that. We're going on to game number 3. All right, here we are in game number 3. Got got another game of Zealot spawning in the bottom left versus Flash in the top left. I'm gonna shift tab here because brown is not very nice on the eyes, is it, Rabbit?
It certainly isn't. I've been observing with you, obviously, through this co-cast, and I'm just such a red versus blue fan. I wouldn't have known he was ever brown to begin with, friend.
All right. Maybe I need to get in that habit as well. We've got a series here, but things have changed. Now Zelot is on a barcode account, trying to hide his identity here so that Flash can't peg him down, I guess, in this series.
Absolutely. You change your name or you change your Smurf. It's like changing your underpants, man. You're feeling fresh and ready to go.
Well, we'll see how fresh feeling Zelot is after this game. I think that Flash is going to drag him through the mud here. No matter how this goes, it's going to be a tough slog against the legend himself.
It sure will be, but let's not forget the game that Zelot took off Flash was on Polypoid. And it just looks like a standard opening. He's even building his racks in his main. He has been doing the low ground double depot kind of open so far. Walling, trying to save the money or at least delaying the bunker for absolutely as long as possible. Zelot here, every game has gone hatch first and hasn't deviated from that. So no reason to believe that we won't get Zelot version of a macro game. So a solid 14 minutes of action-packed shenanigans.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for another Guardian game. That is his signature move against Terran. He's very, very good with that play. I was a little bit surprised to see him do that after seeing the number of Valkyries in the first game, but he managed to make it work. He picked off a bunch of Valkyries. You can't forget, he got like 3 kills on Valkyries in the middle of the map just to Flash's not paying attention to those units. They were killing an Overlord and Hydras just picked them off. So that is a huge swing. It makes a big, big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what impressed me in that game was his mix, his composition mix. It seemed like he just had enough Hydras and just had enough Guardians so that he could combat exactly what he needed to be able to combat. So the Valkyrie is obviously a huge threat to the Guardians. And if he had too many Hydras and not enough Guardians, then the tanks become a factor. And if you have too few Hydras, then obviously the Valkyries become the big factor. So from Zerg's point of view, your unit composition and how much you're spam macroing out of your hatcheries becomes absolutely critical in a very heated time in the game when the pressure's on and you're managing crises and you've got to make a lot of decisions really quickly. So let's not forget that Zelot is just an extraordinarily good player.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quite ASL tier, but he takes games off of the strongest players in the world regularly. Looks like this game, he sees some Marines moving across the map. He sees about 5 Marines coming here, and this is a real threat. You cannot just pretend that you didn't see that and keep making drones right now, because you will lose a huge amount of the economy. And yeah, Flash sees everything, man. He sees what's popping out here. He sees the Spire on the way. He sees only 3 Lings, and he's going to get so much damage done with this. This is a play we've seen him use time and time again, and it just does so well against a lot of these greedy Zerg players in the early game. Oh, 3 drone kills already, down to just 14. Zelot got to be scratching his head right now as to where he went wrong. Looks like going to be surrounding and killing these Marines now. Not the greatest control at this point, but he's already done that damage. He's going to look for one more drone kill, and he will get it. My goodness. That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, that was disappointingly slow reactions. I think the theory behind the move out is actually to force the Sunkens. I think you feel like Christmas has come early when you're Terran, when there's actually nothing to stop you and you get yourself 3 or 4 drones for nothing. So that is just catastrophic for Zelot and a huge advantage to Flash after that, because the number of Lings that have gone out now, that could have been drones. We see a huge worker deficit, and I just don't know how Zerg, without causing some serious econ damage in the next couple of minutes, gets back into the game from here.
We've seen this time and time again from Flash. It was especially prominent, I think, in that Shine series, or was it the Jaedong series? He managed to get a bunch of drones in one of those games. And, you know, players will eventually adapt to this. And the Zelot is the type of person who really likes to throw down an early sunken. He just didn't go for it this game. He even saw the Marines moving out with the Ling. But I think he saw them kill the Ling and then turn around. And Flash just juked him there. He turned around for a second, and then he started heading back across the map again. Really playing some mind games here. Now the mutas are on the field, but the drone count is so incredibly low. Zelot has to do so much with these mutas. It's kind of crazy, and I think that Flash knows it. He's just going to build a bunch of turrets here. He's going to get his +1 and his stim. And he should be okay once those kick in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like, I mean, it's early days, but it looks like from his build order, it's probably going to be a standard sort of SK Terran build out of Flash this game. So really just mixing it up, not playing any game with the same build or the same style or the same approach. It's always nice to see.
Yeah, Flash just showing his range in each one of these series that we've covered so far. Showing that he is capable of playing out all different types of strategies and making them work. Even bringing out some really interesting creative stuff in other series we've seen so far. It's very exciting to have this man back. Not only because he is so good, but just because he's very creative. He makes up a lot of interesting builds, and he's going to get attacked here. Looks like the Lings are going to come in, try to kill this bunker. Ling's going after the turret as well. The bunker will go down, but quite a hefty price there being paid by our Zerg player. Looks like he lost a couple of mutas in that, and every single Ling goes down as well.
Yeah, just not enough damage. Understandable why he's doing it. He's a smart player. He knows he's got a huge deficit here. He knows he needs to make things happen, but Flash has just got so many well-placed turrets. He's got his Bioforce in the right places. I just don't think this game is going to be able to go on too much longer. I think Zelot is all but done here.
Looks like his muta count getting pretty low. At least the health on those mutas is very low here. He's continuing to add more on. He's still got 1 drone mining minerals at the natural, so he does not have any options behind this in terms of macroing out of this position. He just has to break this now or never. Let's see if he can do it coming forward. There's a lot of turrets here. I think Flash has correctly identified that this is an all-in, and all he needs to do is survive, and he should be fine. 4 turrets in the main, 4 turrets at the barracks, 4 turrets at the natural. He has invested very heavily into those defenses, but it's going to pay off.
Absolutely. He knows that behind this, the drone count of the Zerg is nowhere. He's scanned the bases. He probably counts the drones. You can see the natural. You see 1 mining minerals at the natural. You know that your Zerg opponent is all in. Very easy to then make the call just to invest in. I think I counted it something like 7, 10, 11, 12 turrets in total. You never see that number of turrets usually, but game sense, reading where this game is at, knowing all he really has to do is hold until such time as Zelot stops trying. Pretty straightforward, and again, always just good composure from this man.
Yeah, I think Zelot's very close to tapping out here. A Valkyrie is on the way. The moment that comes out, he'll have to tap, and he actually taps even slightly before then. A few scans go down from Flash. He sees exactly what he was up against, and he was correct in identifying it all along. Very nicely done here by Flash. Can we see another Zelot victory, or has Flash completely downloaded this man? It seems like he should have had an advantage switching over to the barcode account, but Flash, reading perfectly, figures it out and takes him down.
All right, it is game 4 of the series between Flash and Zelot. We are back on Polypoid. So 3 of the 4 games were actually played on this map. Flash is in probably the best spawn for the wall on this map, so I won't be surprised if his Rax arrives on the low ground. The gig is up. He's figured out that this barcode is probably Zelot. Or maybe he hasn't, because to be honest, that game from Zelot, the previous game, was quite appalling. Not his best work by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, making a bit of a mistake there. Can't be you can't really give him the benefit of the doubt in that one. Should have been able to identify that those Marines were coming across the map. I mean, you can't allow that Ling to die. The Ling that was sent to the front to die to Marines coming out, and then not send another Ling. You absolutely have to confirm that, so that you know whether you need to pull your drones away or not, build more Lings or not. And he just lost so much. It was an easy victory for Flash. He's going to be feeling very confident in his ability to take this guy down in this last game.
Absolutely. I think he will be. Interestingly enough, choosing not to go with the wall, so building his first depot and Rax up on the high ground. We've seen three fundamentally different builds from Flash in each game. I'm curious to see what he does here. I don't really know. I mean, the sample size that we have watching him now on his return is still probably quite small. So we don't really know what his standard or favorite play is. You do, by watching players, you do start to be able to know what that is. You know, for example, with Snow, he loves Reavers. We don't really know what Flash's favorite build or go-to build is in this match. With the new Flash or the old Flash, whichever you want to call him, the Flash that's back in 2023. You know, I think we need to watch a few more. But this man is just so skillful that variety is probably his biggest strength. It makes him unpredictable. It makes him so hard to play against. And maybe that's what he'll continue to do, just to remain unpredictable.
I think that's probably the best option here for Flash, is just like, he also plays random, right? So unpredictability is his specialty. He plays all races. We've seen him mixing it up on the ladder as well in terms of the different races he's been playing. And that is the pinnacle of unpredictability. But Flash has been, even with his Terran, able to add some of that in to be unpredictable and kind of throw his opponents for a loop. And once again, he's going to be moving out with Marines, this time with just 2 to 3. Yeah, 3 here on the high ground. Hanging out. This is a pressure play. This is a meta play from Flash from that last game, right? You cannot underestimate this. You cannot just ignore this. These Marines moving out here from Zelot after losing a game to a Marine move out in that last one. He's going to make a sunken very, very early here. This is actually what I would expect from Zelot. He always makes the sunken. It's just part and parcel of his play. So I'm glad to see him doing it this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in fact, I think this is probably just standard. I mean, these Marines can't stem, so they can't beat the sunken. It's just kind of the bog standard way to open. It does take the pressure off of you as a Zerg to have that scouting and that micro and those quick reactions. It does mean that if you only wanted to make a pair of Lings in the early game to chase down the scouting SCV, which does get picked off there, a little bit annoying for Flash, kind of got stuck there behind the spire. Then you're protected, right? It's going to be very difficult if the Terran wants to get their command center down early to send an overwhelming amount of Lings against one sunken. I mean, one sunken is, particularly in this matchup, a very, very powerful thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a brain-off way to play, and I think that suits Zelot. No offense to him, but it suits him pretty well. Just build that one sunken. It's a catch-all for if your opponent's building an early vulture, maybe they're hiding something out on the map. You know, if they're trying to build like an awkward number of Marines at a weird time and try to send it at you. If they don't have a medic, they're going to lose basically every Marine trying to kill that, and then your Lings can pop out and clean that up. So it's a bit of a catch-all, and I understand why he does it. It does give you a bit of a disadvantage, though, building this every single game, especially when you don't need it. If your Terran opponent is being ultra greedy, but this is not the way that Flash is playing. He actually lost a Marine to that early sunken, and now Zelot is taking the center right base.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask you about that. I mean, you must have extreme confidence as Zerg that you're going to be able to have such good map control with your mutas that Terran doesn't walk a relatively short distance and just kill your third.
Yeah, so this is indicative of a hyper-aggressive play here from the Zerg player. You're going to be coming in with the mutas and trying to do damage here. You're not going to back off that gas pedal until your opponent is dead. In most cases, he's going to just be rallying the very short distance here from the third over towards his opponent's main base. He will be grabbing the gas geyser here at the third, but then after we have 3 drones on that, he's not going to be building anything but mutas from there for quite a while. We have air armor on the way here for Zelot once again, so we may see another game with Guardian here. That's very high possibility at this point.
Absolutely, and I think you've tailored and profiled Zelot's play style so beautifully in all of the introductions, and he's just living up to it in every way, shape, or form. A couple of sloppy games early where he just didn't handle pressure well, but in the first game he took this type of style and was able to take Flash down. So I'm quite excited to see if Flash can actually hold him off this time around.
Yeah, it is going to be that style. Look there, Queen's Nest on the way. Couple of Lings did come into the natural and almost killed. Like, they killed a Marine, started to work on a turret, but got picked off. The mutas have been getting quite a bit of damage going here at the natural, and they are healthy in number. Looks like a single SCV actually going to draw the entire Mutalist flock back here just to deal with that. Pretty funny. Managing to pull out. Okay, it's just 2 mutas. The 2 mutas that are the most damaged that have been pulled out of the stack are going to be sent back here. And that's the way you really want to play here if you're going for this type of Guardian style. You want to deal as much damage as you can with the mutas, but you want to lose as few mutas as possible. Every time one of them gets low on HP, you want to pull it out and hold it back, because once they are made into Guardians, they regain that HP and they become much, much more powerful. So every Guardian or every muta that's lost is kind of big here for Zelot. He's going to be throwing down that Hydra's Den now, going for some Hydra upgrades here shortly. We're going to have about 10-minute Guardians coming forward here, and that means Flash kind of got to get out of his base pretty soon if he wants to not die to this.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see if Flash goes Science Vessel. I don't know. I mean, the pathing on his mining for this natural gas is amazing. Look at the direction he's going. But yeah, I think he may go Vessel Irradiate, because I don't see an Armory anywhere. So it's not... there's the Armory, excuse me. So it is going to be Valkyries again. I missed the Armory come into the production tab. So it seems like he's going to go with this Bio Valkyrie style. The difference, though, between this game and the first game is that the Valkyries are actually coming out a little bit later. And the Bio infrastructure is now for 5 racks. So potentially able to reinforce at a slightly different tempo than the first game. Perhaps that'll make a difference for Flash this time around.
Yeah, the most important thing here is getting out on the map. You don't want to allow the Guardians to build right in your face. You cannot allow Guardians to, pop up right here on the high ground and waltz into your natural uncontested. So he needs to get out on this map, potentially prevent the Guardians from transforming, or in the second best case would be to get in between the reinforcements to the Guardians and the Guardians themselves. So looks like he's coming forward here. I don't think he can make it up in time to prevent these Guardians. They're already halfway morphed, and this is going to be a pretty big struggle here. We've got 11 mutas to assist here. We've got a lot of Hydras. Here are the Guardians. They're about to morph. They are going to get jumped upon. Looks like 2 Valkyries here going to work on the muta on the right-hand side, but they both get picked off. The Guardians morph just barely in time. And the mutas are going to back that up. GG, Flash.
Wow, a game of
Oh.
fine margins cannot even be described more accurately. The way you called that Flash had to get onto the map, he had to take those Guardians down before they could get to him. This build that Zelot is doing is obviously incredibly hard to stop. It takes a very highly skillful Terran to stop this from beating them. And today, in this little mini series that we've been able to do together, Flash just couldn't do it. And so in the 2 games that he did take off Zelot, were just basically, I think, early errors from Zelot. It was more Zelot losing the game than Flash winning it. And the games that got into just beyond early game into sort of early mid game, Zelot took down. So SaiyanSC, my question to you is, where is Flash on his comeback? Has he still got a way to go or a long way to go?
I think he's doing fantastically. This is a very new strategy, the sort of Guardian Hydralisk attack. It's something that Terran players have been learning about and learning to counter over the past year to 2 years, and that's kind of the time frame that Flash has been away. So I think he's still doing really, really well. I feel like his play is very unpredictable. He's a great, interesting player with a lot of creativity, and I'm sure he'll figure this out eventually. But for now, he's probably going to have to lose a few more ladder maps to players like Zelot before he gets it down. Yeah, this is a tough one to handle, but he was close there. Honestly, it was very, very close. Like you said, a game of margins. But that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Rabbit, am I correct in saying that you are back to the casting world?
I am. By the time that this hits my YouTube channel, I probably would have had 4 or 5, maybe more, Flash games that would have gone up. Just for the time being, similar to you, I'm going to be doing the Flash games. I'm doing them live on Twitch and on YouTube, and then I'm just dicing up the VODs and uploading them into shorter games onto my YouTube channel. I'll also upload this onto my YouTube channel. But it's good to be back. Thanks for inspiring me to do so. For those watching on SaiyanSC's channel, please do leave a like and subscribe. And for those on mine, obviously the same would be awesome. But I think we do this for our love of Broodwar. It's not about whose channel is doing what. It's just about, bringing this beautiful game to the people. And it was fun to do so again with you today. And I look forward to many more.
Yeah, I do as well. Absolutely agree there, guys. Make sure to check out the links in the description. I'll have Rabbit's YouTube channel and his Twitch stream in there. You can check that out as well. We may be doing some of the same games, but I'm sure we will have some originals as well. Guys, I'll see you in the next cast.